Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm your host, Mrs. M. And if you haven't, make sure you click the link below. That way you can subscribe to my channel and not miss out on anything you need to scale your cleaning business to six figures and beyond. How? So in today's video, I'm going to actually share my screen and show you the contract that I use for commercial cleaning. Now, notice I said for commercial cleaning because I did government and commercial. My contracts for government were slightly different than my contracts for commercial. So if you're interested in seeing the actual contract that I use, then stay tuned. I'm going to show you to you right now. So let me go ahead and share my screen and pow. So this is my actual cleaning service agreement. Now, I still say you want to consult with your, legal service. And I always use not an attorney, but I actually, well, sometimes I would use an attorney, but a lot of times I would go to legal aid. And I know that I would go to the one, I actually was in Orlando, Florida at the time, and I would use a legal aid. So look up legal aid in your area. Most of the time, you're going to be able to consult with an attorney for like $50. Well, they will look over anything you have. I highly suggest that you do that if you want them to look over, which I would suggest your actual contract. So let's take a look and see what it was in mine. Like I said, that was constructed by my attorney that I used through legal aid. So I wanted to make sure that I had the effective date, what I was going to provide, and then I went into when it was going to start. Very important. I then made sure that I talked about that this was an at-will contract, that they had to give me 30 days notice if there was anything different. And then I went into what the payment was, and I don't do per hour. So I went into what it would be per month, as you can see, other on my screen. And then I talked about the taxes, what I was responsible for, independent contractor status. I went into the fact that if I were providing an independent contractor, what that looked like, safety. I talked about alcohol and drugs, any assignments, if I was able to assign this contract. So let's say that if I found a contract, I could actually, customize this contract. Whereas if I wanted to sub it out or sell it completely, I was considered able to do that, being the assigner. Then I went into what the default looked like. Then I come back up here and I talk about the payment method and what type of duties we're going to do, return of any property, time is of the essence. If I put that, what that means, confidentiality. I wanted to make sure that anything that they had, they felt confident that it would not go any further, because sometimes you're going into buildings where you have access to a lot of items. Then I went into returning documents, the waiver governing if I wanted to sever it, what the entire agreement meant, and any additional acknowledgments. And then I simply signed it. Now, what I love is I also love including in here what I call a cure. And that basically is something you can customize. A cure notice means, like what I have up here a little earlier, when it talks about if we're able to sever the contract. So two things I like to put in my contract was, one, what would happen if they were default, if they didn't pay. I had it in my contract where if they missed after so many days, say 3, I would add a percentage for sure. It would be a percentage on top of it. And then if they missed 3 more days, I would stop actually providing the services. And then they would have to become current before we would come back in there. I know so many people that go into a contract and they service it and service it and service it, and they're well over 30 days before they've gotten paid. Well, now they're too far in. They don't want to pull out because their concern is, if I pull out, then I won't get any money from this. And I understand that. So it's something you don't want to do. You don't want to go past. I never went past 3 days without getting paid. So if I got paid net 30, or if I got paid within 14 days, which what I set a lot of my contracts up, then I made sure that on the 16th day, if I didn't receive payment, that the services ceased. On 3 more days from that, I put inside of my contracts that if I had to take them to court, that they would pay for all reasonable court costs, attorney's fees, so on and so forth. Now, like I said, I'm not giving you any legal advice. I'm giving you the recommendations and actually showing you the contract I use. You want to make sure that you feel comfortable with going to someone to draft yours. The other thing I did is I put the no cure in there, meaning cure notice, no cure. What happens if we cure it? The contract goes on. That means if there is an official write-up in my contracts, I put up what is an official write-up. An official write-up is when they contact us via the official email that we have on file with them in the contract and let us know there's a complaint. If they just tell one of our workers, hey, I didn't like that, that's not considered an official complaint. An official complaint is when it is emailed or sent to us and we have the exact words. This is an official complaint. We would have 30 days to cure it. If we did not cure it in 30 days, now, if it was carpet, floors, we had 30 days. If it was something simple, we always gave ourselves no more than a 10-day cure. Our guarantee was to make sure we addressed it within 24 hours. That's why we were able to retain a lot of our customers. 24 hours goes by, we are right there making sure that first we answer what the concern was. 2, what are we going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again? Because a lot of times it happens again and again and again and again, and they get a little frustrated because they're having to tell you the same thing over and over. So we made sure that we put something in the contract that we would cure it within X amount of days. If we cured it, that it would continue on. And then also we were very confident that we had great trained frontline employees, so that we would put in there that if the same problem occurred within the next remaining of the month, the next 30 days, we would give them a discount, because we didn't want them to feel as if we were going to be comfortable with having the same thing over and over. For instance, there was one account that they loved to put gum inside of the trash liner, and they would take it and they would wrap it inside of there. That way they could tell if you actually changed the trash liner. Now, if you look into it, if you're cleaning and you know how busy we get and you just peek into the trash can and you don't see anything, you keep it moving. But they would take the gum and they would wrap it underneath the trash liner, looking to see, because they paid for the trash liners and they said each and every trash liner needs to be changed regardless of whether it was soiled or not. They felt like they were paying for the trash liners. That's what they want. Well, some of our cleaners would get in there, they'd peek inside of it, and they would continue on. The next day, that particular person would come in, they'd see the little gum in there, and we'd have the problem. So that was the reason why we made sure that we did a thorough check on each and every trash can, and we gave our employees incentive to do that. Because if we're getting more money from the clients, we're going to pass it on to our employees, which means they're going to do a better job. Now, the other thing in the contracts we made sure we put, depending on your state, one of my favorite things is a lot of contracts can be automatically renewed. I know in the state of Florida, they changed it. In the contract, you would say that they would have to give you 30 days notice. If the contract was ending on April the 30th, they would have to let you know by March 30th, they no longer wanted to stay in the contract. And then on April 30th, you would have the ability to automatically renew it. But now you have to give a lot of states, any type of contract it is, a reminder that the contract is going to renew. And then if they don't do anything, it automatically renews. Why do I love that? It's sort of like when you're looking at signing a lease. Unless you let the leaser know, you the leasee, unless you let the leaser know that you are going to move out, you would automatically have to renew the lease. And that's one of the things that a lot of the contracts that we did, we just had an automatic renewal. If you're doing an outstanding job, they're not going to even pay attention to it. But like I said, in a lot of states, you have to let them know, but we still put in the contract that we would notify them, but it would automatically renew. Automatic renewals were great. So check out your state and see if you can legally automatically renew without any notification. And like I said, speak to an attorney or legal aid or whomever you feel comfortable with, just to make sure that some of the pieces that I've spoken about, you feel are good for your contract. I know I wanted to make sure that it was fair, a win-win for both, not just us who are drafting the contracts, but for our clients, because the goal is to have them not feel like they're bamboozled, but they want you to stay, not like you tricked them. But having it in the contract where it automatically renews, if they're happy with you, then they don't have to go through anything. And the other thing we make sure we put in the contract so that we had a win-win situation is that we would automatically have an upgrade. It would automatically go up 10%, 5%. So that way you're not having to haggle over what the pay increase is going to be. Already have it in your contract. So if you'd like to know more detailed information, then make sure you reach out to us at 407-986-8228. That's the way you can reach me as well. Or I'd love to see you at our free masterclass where I take the time to really get into what you need to do to scale your business up to 6 figures and beyond. Wow. And it starts with great proposals, great business systems, and great contracts. So I'd love to see you there. Space is limited. We only take about 25, 26 people. So make sure you sign up. And I go into all the things you see and more. So until next time, until the next video, be safe and take care. Bye-bye.